I never imagined my relationship with Emily would end the way it did. For 3 years, I thought we were building something real, something worth every sacrifice I made. We met in college, both broke students trying to figure life out. I worked 2 part-time jobs just to keep the lights on in our tiny apartment, while she focused on her art degree. I didn't mind covering most of the bills. I kept telling myself, one day, when she makes it big, all this will be worth it. I was the one paying for rent, utilities, groceries, car insurance, basically everything that kept us afloat. Emily contributed sometimes, but it was never consistent. Her money usually went toward her projects, paints, canvases, and the occasional self-care spree. But I loved her. I told myself she just needed time to find her footing, and I was willing to give her that. At first, her gratitude made it feel worthwhile. She would hug me after I came home from double shifts, telling me how much she appreciated what I was doing for our future. She even painted me once, a portrait she said captured the strength she saw in me. That painting still hangs in my closet, face turned to the wall. But as time passed, her gratitude faded. Instead of thank you, I started hearing complaints about not going out enough, about not buying her nicer things, about how boring my work schedule made me. She didn't seem to understand that her nights out with friends were being funded by my exhaustion. The breaking point came one night when I finished a late shift at the restaurant. My phone had been buzzing all evening, but I couldn't check it while working. When I finally did, there were dozens of notifications, friends tagging me in a post. It was Emily. She had posted a picture of herself, arms around some guy I'd never seen before, captioned, "Finally with someone who knows how to treat me right, 2 hearts #realman." My stomach dropped. I must have read that caption 50 times, hoping I was misunderstanding. But the comments confirmed it. Her friends congratulated her. Some even teased her about upgrading. And there I was, still sweaty in my uniform, holding a paycheck that was already spoken for, realizing the woman I'd been breaking my back for was parading around with another guy. I didn't text her. I didn't call. I didn't scream or cry. Instead, I drove home in silence, grabbed a box, and started packing her things. When she came home later that night, laughing on the phone with who I assumed was her new, real man, she found all her clothes neatly stacked by the door. She looked at me like I was the crazy one. "Wow," she scoffed. "You're really overreacting. I didn't even do anything wrong." We weren't official anymore. That was news to me. We had been living together, sharing a bed, planning trips. But according to her, she had felt single for months, and just hadn't told me. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. I just said, "Cool. Since you're single now, you can pay for your own stuff." Her smirk disappeared instantly. "What do you mean?" "I mean I'm done covering your bills. Rent, groceries, phone plan, everything. If you want to live here, you'll have to start pulling your weight. Otherwise, you can move in with your new guy." For the first time in years, she looked scared. But I don't have a job right now. I thought you wanted to support me while I build my portfolio." I shrugged. "Not anymore." That night, she stormed out. I half expected her to return the next day, crying and apologizing, maybe even begging for forgiveness. But instead, she doubled down. She started posting even more pictures with her new boyfriend, showing off dinners, dates, and late-night drives. Except there was one problem. He wasn't paying for her lifestyle the way I had. Within 2 weeks, she was calling me again. "Hey, so, the landlord says rent is due. Could you just cover it this month? I'll pay you back, I promise." I laughed. Not cruelly, but genuinely. "Emily, you're not my responsibility anymore." "But I don't have the money," she whined. "Then you'll have to figure it out. Maybe your new boyfriend can help." Silence. Then she muttered, "He's not really in a position to do that." Of course he wasn't. I'd seen the guy's profile. He looked like he spent more time flexing at the gym than working. "Not my problem," I said before hanging up. That was the first of many calls. Groceries, gas money, internet bills, she kept trying to rope me back into paying. Every time, I reminded her, you chose someone else. Now live with that choice. The final straw came when her dad called me out of the blue. I had always gotten along with him, since I was the one who made sure Emily never went without. He knew how hard I worked. But this time, his voice was full of anger. What the hell is going on, son? Emily says you kicked her out and cut her off financially. She's been crashing at our place, and now she's saying you're being cruel. I took a deep breath. With all due respect, sir, Emily cheated on me. She has a new boyfriend. I don't think it's my job to keep paying for her life while she flaunts someone else around. There was a long pause. Then, surprisingly, he sighed. I had a feeling. She's been acting different lately. Don't worry, I'm not blaming you. In fact, maybe this will finally teach her some responsibility. That was the first time I realized I wasn't alone in seeing her true colors. Still, it wasn't over. Emily wasn't done trying to drag me down with her. Because 2 weeks later, she showed up at my job, angry, crying, and demanding to talk. And that's when everything exploded. When Emily showed up at my job, I was in the middle of serving tables. She barged in like a storm, her eyes red from crying but her voice sharp enough to cut glass. You ruined my life, she shouted, loud enough for half the restaurant to turn their heads. You think you can just cut me off like that? After everything I've given you? I set down the tray I was carrying and motioned for my manager to cover me. My hands were trembling, but not with fear, with the kind of adrenaline you get when someone crosses a line you can't uncross. We stepped outside, and she immediately started in. I can't believe you would do this to me. You knew I didn't have savings. You knew I was relying on you until I launched my art business. Now I'm broke, homeless, and humiliated. I took a slow breath. Emily, let's be clear. You humiliated yourself when you went public with your new boyfriend. You made the choice to cheat. You made the choice to brag about it. All I did was stop paying for a lifestyle you no longer get to share with me. Her face twisted with anger. I only went out with him because you never made me feel special anymore. All you did was work, work, work. He gave me attention. He made me feel alive. Yeah? I shot back. And how's that working out? Has he bought you groceries? Paid your phone bill? Covered your rent? Or does he just take selfies with you in his beat-up car? That hit a nerve. She went quiet, biting her lip. You don't understand, she whispered, her bravado slipping. He's not like you. He doesn't have money, but he cares about me. I couldn't help laughing. He cares about you so much he's fine with you begging me to cover your bills? That's not care, Emily, that's leeching off both sides. Her eyes welled with tears, and for a second I saw the woman I used to love, the one who dreamed about galleries and whispered plans for the future. But then I remembered the post, the betrayal, the way she made me feel disposable. So I said the words I knew would finally close the door. Emily, you're not my problem anymore. Stop coming to my job. Stop calling me. You made your choice, now live with it. She cried harder, yelling something about how I was cold and heartless, before storming off down the street. My coworkers who had peeked outside gave me sympathetic looks, but I just shrugged and went back to work. Over the next few weeks, I heard bits and pieces about her from mutual friends. Apparently, her new boyfriend wasn't quite the real man she'd hyped him up to be. He couldn't hold a steady job, and the little money he did have went into partying and gym supplements. Emily tried moving in with him, but his roommates kicked her out after she failed to pay rent. Eventually, she crawled back to her parents, who weren't exactly thrilled. Her dad later told me, half embarrassed, half relieved, that she'd begged them to cover her debts. She thought we'd take your place, he said with a sigh. But we told her flat out. If she wants to live like an adult, she has to start acting like one. For the first time, Emily had no safety net. No doting boyfriend. No exhausted partner to foot the bills. No indulgent parents to bail her out. Meanwhile, my own life got better. Without the financial drain of supporting her, I finally saved enough to upgrade my car and put money aside for my own future. I had free time again, and I didn't feel guilty spending it on myself. But the real twist came months later. I was at the grocery store when I ran into an old mutual friend, Jessica. After a bit of small talk, she leaned in and whispered, "You know Emily's trying to come back to you, right?" I blinked. "What?" Jessica nodded. "She's been telling people she regrets everything, that she only went with that guy because she thought you'd never change. She says she misses how stable you made her life." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped the basket I was holding. "Misses my money, you mean?" Jessica smirked. "Pretty much. But don't worry, everyone knows she burned that bridge. You've got nothing to worry about." And she was right. Emily did reach out one last time, not with an apology, but with a text that said, "Hey, I was wondering if we could talk. Maybe get dinner? I've been doing a lot of thinking about us." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I replied with 2 words. "Good luck." The same words I typed on her cheating post months earlier. And just like that, the conversation, and whatever shred of hope she had, was over. It's been over a year since all this went down. Looking back, I don't even feel anger anymore, just relief. Supporting someone you love is one thing, but being exploited while they shop for upgrades is another. Emily thought love was about what she could get, not what she could give. Me? I learned that love without respect is just a transaction. And the moment she turned me into her personal ATM while flaunting another guy, the account closed, permanently. Funny thing is, the painting she once made of me, the one I shoved in the closet, I finally pulled it back out. Not because I miss her, but because it reminds me of how far I've come. The man in that portrait isn't just strong, he's free. And I'll never pay for someone else's betrayal again.